Hey there, everybody. Welcome into week 3 of RGL's third season of Traditional Sixes. Glad to be bringing this to you today. Could be a new face, me and Jarrett both here too, but definitely excited to watch this gameplay. Going to be the premiere of Dorsia. Their record might say otherwise, but it's going to be the first time that we see them playing versus my anime list, a team that's kind of been middling, I'd say. Scrim results maybe saying one other thing, but regardless, should be a good matchup to see how Dorsia are really looking in this today. Like I said, new faces, me and Jarrett for you on this, other than Jarrett being on the desk sometimes. I was a TF2 player, Highlander, still play myself. I played Overwatch, cast Paladins now is my job, and love watching Sixes, wanted to cast it, and wanted a reason to do something with my good friend and teammate Jarrett.
Absolutely. For those of you who are wondering why previously we mentioned not really in terms of Dorsia being new, it's because they've actually shown up not quite at the beginning of the season. They're actually using a hijacked roster from the old She roster, previously 100B, and are taking a couple of players who were found teamless to find something last minute that they can play with. We can go over the rosters really quickly while we're waiting for all these players to get into the server and get ready.
Yeah, I mean, we can get the graphic up, but definitely, with the graphics on screen, I don't think we need to run them down specifically. But for Dorsia, since they're the new team here, give me the highlights. Give me maybe the backing of what made this roster come to be, and who you expect to have to perform tonight if they're going to take their first win in their first game.
Well, the team's creation's kind of interesting, with Yomps leaving Froyo and She dying. That left Zillion, not Zilly, that left Ash and Yite and Yomps all teamless. And with Jay joining Froyo Tech, that left Zilly teamless as well because he was playing in a lower division. So with those 4 players being teamless and still wanting to play, they took Cookie Jake and Marmaloo out of retirement and decided to hijack a team last minute. So yeah. Here they are with their debut.
I mean, God bless COVID, I guess, right? Is that the reason why Marmaloo and Cookie Jake were willing to come play? Not much better to do. Maybe you just wanted to bust out a season with some friends, or were they looking to get back into it and this just happened to be the right place for them?
I'm sure it's just circumstance. It's probably a bunch of small things combined. You got boredness of COVID, plus, willing to hang out with the boys. Probably a bunch of factors adding together, leading them to come back for at least one more season.
Yeah, and hopefully, for their sake, it could be a good one, and I think they have the roster to do it with the talent that they have, but first matchup on the other side, my anime list, a team that name-wise I wouldn't expect to be crazy successful, but it has players that I recognize across the board. I know you've played with Trip in the past and Bear as well. I recognize Phelps, aka Happy Cool, from playing him in Highlander and watching him play. Looking at some of their logs too, he's kind of just been slamming in some of the games they've been playing. But looking at their team, who stands out to you against Dorsia as someone they have to be worried about?
Well, with my anime list, you never really know what to expect because you have a lot of players that can play at their normal, standard gameplay, and then you have a lot of moments where really any of them could have moments where they pop off. Zai could have really great moments, same with Trip with his tier 6 rocket jumps, and then like you said, Phelps he's really an underdog on Scout. People don't rate him as highly as I think they could all the time, but he's doing a really great job, and I'd like to see how well he does. And you can't also forget about Kev Snipes because, he could be pulling off a headshot or two, and then all of a sudden he just pulls out a 4K out of nowhere. So I feel like Dorsia definitely need to make sure they're not too careful. I would say that even though that Dorsia, on an individual level and as a team as a whole, probably is going to be slightly better on paper, there's a lot of moments that my anime list could pull out to help them take some rounds and maybe even the game here if Dorsia is not too careful.
I'm glad you mentioned Sniper because I know it's not great all the time, even though some people in Pugs will tell you otherwise, but it is Process, a map that I feel like Scouts can have solid control on, even though you can get good bombs in using some of the walls and coming in through choke. A lot of great ways to get in, but on mid-fight, I feel like Scouts playing defensive can really control things. Who do you think of these two rosters might have an advantage with the map bans having gone to Process?
Well, that's a good question, because normally here I would compare both of the Scout pairs, but it's really no telling who Dorsia is going to be having on Scout.
True.
Over the past 3 days, they had their original roster where they had like Marmaloo on demo and they had Yompson and Yite on Scout. But over the past 3 days, they've done a little switcheroo 3 separate times. They had Marmaloo on demo with the original Scout pair, and then They were switching things around, and they moved Ashe to Scout, and I'm pretty sure the roster one time was Zilly on Scout. So whatever they decided to play tonight, there's really no telling, because even in the scrims tonight, they decided to swap once again. So the last thing they played was Yide on demo with Marmlu on Soldier and Yomps on Scout, followed by Ashe, I'm pretty sure. With Zilly also playing Soldier. So we'll see if they stick with that. But who knows if they've decided after the scrims, like, no, we're going to go back to what you're originally doing, or who knows, maybe we'll see something mid-match. So on a normal basis, I would give it to Dorsia, but because things are so hectic right now with their roster, it's really hard to find, like, I don't know, what this team's identity is and how good they're actually going to be. And I think that goes even past, how good the Scout pair-ups are, and it really goes into the teams as well. You like I said before, you'd think that, oh, all these players on Dorsia, they're really accomplished, and even though they're coming together last minute, you'd think that, oh, well, this is probably the favorite team. But like I said, with the roster switch ups, who knows?
Yeah, with all the bouncing back and forth, I mean, I looked at some of their logs before this, and it seemed like the mix-ups were kind of messing with their flow, what they had. But as they were playing Froyo earlier, from what I was watching while we were waiting to start this up, they had the initial, I think they started with Yomps on demo, Yide on Scout, which is what was on the initial roster graphic we had, but flipped it up and then suddenly started having more of a contested game. So I definitely expect that to be the roster that comes in with it. Do you know how much experience they have with that roster in particular, or is this just a last-second switch up and they're praying for that honeymoon period of a new player on a different class to help them push it against Anime List?
As far as I know, most of the rosters, or the iterations of the rosters, don't have too much of a difference in terms of playtime. They've swapped around enough over the past couple of days that they've had their fill of, like, trying this person on demo and then swapping around and trying a different person on demo and then moving a third person to demo. So I think it's really going to come down to what they favor rather than what they've played with the most, because it's really kind of been shared across the board.
Yeah, and I think looking at it, trying to figure out, looking at the predictions in chat, which seems to be pretty back and forth, I am curious with how my enemy list, I looked at their logs, I was trying to see who had been playing recently, who they've been playing against, but they haven't really scrimmed the last couple of days.
I think they've gotten a little bit of bad RNG and been kind of screwed over in the scrim department. I don't think they've played in the past 2 days, so that's going to be another factor going back to how I said before, Dorsia's might not be playing at their peak. They got some roster issues. Well, my enemy list isn't able to, put all the practice on the process that they probably want. So I feel like both teams are probably not in the most ideal scenario right now, yet this is still a really important match. These are two teams that really want to make playoffs, and if they want to get a good seed, then they're going to have to make sure they win this. And if you're not playing your best in a very important match, it's not going to feel good.
One thing I have to ask Jarrett, because I'm personally just not sure about this, what's happening with the matches that Dorsia missed at the start? Are they being played later, or do they just have less matches to play, making every single one have even more weight?
There is a bye week because of a lopsided amount of teams that are in the season now, but I'm pretty sure whatever match they missed is just going to be played at a later date. Remember, this is a hijacked roster, so there was a match that was technically played by this roster that was a loss, but it wasn't them, so that makes this match extra important for them, though, because they're not starting at a clean slate. They're starting 0-1, so
always with that losers bracket disadvantage, basically.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season, they're going to feel like going into every single game here. And I got to say, props to the players. I know you guys can't see it on broadcast, but I did not install Caster Essentials, and they did all change their names to the right things, at least somewhat. So I'm hopefully going to be able to follow where everybody is in game. And Process, I'm happy to see Process for my first game casting 6s for RGL, just because I know it's a map everybody knows, and I know it kind of can open up to these explosive plays potentially. You can do those fast rollouts on any class, maybe barring Scout. It's kind of you always go only a certain speed on that, but you can do the fast demo, make her play a really aggressive mid. But when I was just watching the Froyo scrims earlier, I noticed they kind of, this might just be the Froyo way, but they were playing this patient Scouts up top. As soon as the enemy team tries to go on them, they immediately initiate back, go further. What style do you expect a style from my anime list specifically on these mids? I singled them out because who knows what Dorsia's going to do. We've literally never seen them before.
I feel like my enemy list is going to try to play reactive for the most part. I don't really see them as a team that is going to want to just like double bomb in right off the bat, but I'm fairly certain they'll adjust if whatever they're doing versus Dorsia isn't going to be working. But as far as, like you said with Dorsia, yeah, I think you're right, how it's just going to be a lot of slow gameplay, spam heavy, at least for the mid-fight. But that's not to say they won't be able to adjust as well. I actually think in terms of the way this match is going to go, I feel like it's going to be harder for Dorsia at the very beginning of the match, just because the way they play is very... It's not... I wouldn't say the way they play is bad, but I feel like because they've been a team for
No, be honest, Jarrett.
No,
tell me how you really feel.
Because they haven't been a team for so long, it's hard to develop a lot of like strategies or anything like that. So it's going to be normal for them to start playing to their strengths and even somewhat one-dimensionally sometimes. So it's going to be up to my enemy list to recognize the way that Dorsia is going to be playing out of the gate, and then see if they have the potential to match up to them and see if they can do some sort of hard counter. And then it's going to be, the ball's going to be back in Dorsia's court, where they're going to have to figure out, all right, if we're losing, how do we adjust?
Yeah, I mean, at this level, it's about being reactive, right? I mean, everyone playing at this level has played Sixes, played TF2 for so long with different teams, different players. You learn all the different styles, and you figure out what's going to be best in that situation. Looks like if this is actually readying up, it might be starting here, potentially. First mid, my enemy list versus Dorsia. We're going to see exactly how the teams are going to go. I'll watch Trip, I think, early on here. He is the roamer for that team, so check out his rollout. Looks like Sai actually created on his 85 health to begin the spam war, but no damage being traded either way yet. Slow start, it looks like, for my enemy list. Soldier's waiting, maybe just for some information to come out. They trade spam back and forth. Health, actually, Bear, it looks like he took some spam from across the map, so they have to rotate around and protect him. And Dorsia could strike at any time with this back, but no one making the first move yet. Trip looks like he wants to move onto the shack above them, forces back Yite into sewers, gets picked out in the shutter, can't make it out of the way in time. But they just back off. They want to bait any further aggression. Here comes the bomb in from Marmalou. Looks like immediately deleted. They trade out Bear for it, but looks like Zilly actually follows up with 2 right now. Sai controlling the point. They have the scout there as well, moving in, forces the Uber, and this is more likely going to keep this in Dorsia's favor. Sai running away, but Ubered scout is going to clean that up with Ash finding that kill, and looks like unless they come back quickly, first mid for Dorsia.
Aim's hiding, he's in.
Oh, right behind, he goes onto CookieJgg, finds him. Can he get the scout as well? Right now, no, Ash cleans it up because of Yite coming back. They still have it, but cleaning up Uber advantage, 20% for Bear with a 10-second respawn still on CookieJgg. Can they bully this in with healing?
Doesn't look like it. Well, actually, with the late spawn, they might be able to go for something. Yeah, yes. But it seems like they're playing a little bit slow. They're playing safe here. That was almost a really great mid for my enemy list. They traded sides and decided to jump the gun and get good kills early on, but the double soldier bomb from the blue team was able to splash the red players that were all standing on top of each other. So,
not protecting Bear at the end there, I think, really also hurt them too. But I mean, my enemy list, they have Uber advantage now, and pushing into mid, it looks like, coming through the choke, leading with Demo and Scout. Both Scouts there to deny any bombers. I think someone went into IT, but it looks like
Blue's doing a flank play right
now. Oh, on the side, they catch the Scout, but that's it. Still revenge on their side. 60% on CookieJgg. They're gonna have to back up, but they are going for the back cap. They're gonna have to send somebody back. It looks like Kev is going to do it, dueling their 2 players back there. Kev can't win this. There's no way. Just trade his life for it. He might actually kill Marmalou running around with the pain train, but they're still sending a Scout to last. I don't think they can stop this back cap no matter what. Dorsia, first round, running straight through IT. They can't stop him.
Yeah, the Dorsia flank caught Trip by surprise and were able to kill him and make him back up, so they were able to get the back cap before Red was able to cap mid.
Yeah, just great call, honestly. Just being able to notice what's happening there. Now we're in the next mid fight already. Sai hit the rollout this time. Looks like Trip is quick as well, but they don't want to make any early moves. It's the rest of Dorsia rolling through the choke. Scout playing up top, Phelps and Trip all rotating away. It's identical to the last mid, but maybe they send in Zilly early? No, still holding far back. All 6 players just mirroring each other's sides. Finally, the engagement comes in from Trip. They catch Ash on the side with Phelps coming in as well. Marmalou goes on to Sai, but not able to find that. They walk across the point, but just damage, no kills. Follow-up from Trip onto the back. Finds CookieJgg. They clean up on Yite as well. Looks like only Yomps running away towards the enemy sewer. Spawner's going to be able to deal with them. I would not throw your demo at that, but AIM comes in to help. And the mid-fight for my anime list, same start, but they got aggressive first, and that was the difference.
Yeah, Blue tried to retaliate too, but this time the soldiers were not synced up whatsoever in terms of their bombs, especially because one of them bombed the medic and Bear just surfed away. How are you going to shoot a medic that's in the air? It's not reliable to hit that,
right?
Not reliable to hit that air shot, so it's going to prevent the focus fire to actually get the kills. Unlike last mid where, you know, shoot one rocket against 3 players standing on each other's models, it's going to definitely get a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, so. I think they realized they had to move first, and it's going to let them have a full Uber advantage push into here as they slowly slide in and take the lobby. Looks like they have an engineer up, level 3 already on the right side. No other off-class. Oh, no, they have sniper yomps as well. Both doors are covered. Which way they're going to engage? Looks like they're coming through the lobby door. Flashing a little bit early. Immediately get the gun, but Ash should swap out over to Heavy. Catch out Yomps, though, too. That's a number advantage, but they throw Phelps away on the point with the Heavy rolling out on the left side. Can they kill the soldiers? Focus fire is just not there. They kill Zilly. Armalu caught as well in the back. It's a 3v3, but Bear a little bit too forward, melted down by Ash. Trip's just going to walk on point if he can, but at this point, just to trade one frag, distract for Sai coming in for Panic Room, but Heavy is a good class when they all have to run into him. Ash cleans up too, and that push fails.
That push was almost so great for Mal, but they didn't try to spot the gun or anything, so they go through the door that's not the closest. And even though that's a pretty small thing, look how close they were to capping that. It just really goes to show that you really got to milk every single bit you can to make sure that you're able to get these successful last pushes.
I mean, the fact that they had to put Ash there on the point so late, I think, shows how desperate it was there at the end. I like how quickly they're coming through, but maybe a little bit of a disconnect as AIM is kind of bullying the back, but they use flash a couple people in. Great air shot, actually, onto AIM jumping out by Yite. They clean up both soldiers, so no worry about pressure there, but my
Red's playing a little timid.
Yeah, they backed up with Uber, but they can just get bullied out number-wise. They're going to get a force back to their own last, and even pushing out with Uber advantage from last, it's not great. You can just get kited and forced in these chokes, and Felt leads out on the sniper.
Yeah, the flank from Blue was actually so deep in mid, but Red was so afraid of the Uber coming in right after that they were so far back they weren't able to clear the early kills. So that just leaves them all the way here on last. They do have ad, but they're sitting on your own last trying to break out of last is not a position you want to be in.
Yeah, you need an initial pick, and they bled someone first. You can already see a great defensive position from the soldiers in Dorsia holding up top. They actually Uber out of lower lobby, jumping into upper IT.
The blue flank.
Maybe trading one kill. Don't tell me this is going to happen again. There's no way, right?
The red defense is good.
Yeah, he got caught out by the stickies there. I'm trying to free cam through walls and catch up. It's a little bit slow there on that, but they did catch that out. Uber advantage right now for Dorsia on mid as they hold it. They want to play their number advantage, but if they catch someone out, if they go too forward, AIM jumping straight in to the rest of the team, but they're not watching Sewer. CookieJake getting chipped out. Finally, they spread and cover both spaces, bleeding out Phelps as well. Jump through the choke. It is stuck, but going right over it to make things up. Al-Qaeda push looks like for Dorsia right now. Could get counterbombed, but no one's really willing to make a move.
Don't really have the resources because they used them on mid.
Yeah, Trip's just a little bit too far back. They're going to get the cap, and going to be, it looks like an even stalemate, but wait, they're going in without this even happening, Jarrett. They're pushing right in, getting the NG. They're not giving them a chance to get set up at all.
Yep, gotta go before the gun's up, and now it's just a heavy. They're not going to be able to get on the point in time, but are they? The soldiers on the point. A lot of blue dropping.
Yeah, they got some damage there. They get the Uber in time for it, but they can disengage. Now, full wipe, it looks like. I like the concept of it, but going in 5v6 into defensive classes, to me, I don't know, Jarrett, that doesn't seem like the right play.
It seems good in spirit, but it just probably was down to the execution. Going really early when that gun was only level 1 is really nice, but the fact that they really didn't get very many kills with the Uber. Yeah.
They need to be pushing off of a bigger ad to make an aggressive play like that happen.
But you know what? They are pushing now.
Making a little bit of room, it looks like. 3 people on the Spire spamming down. Yite getting dangerously low, but they do catch out Trip on that push as Zilly bleeds out as well. In the back, actually, Marmaloo catches out Bear from the side. They trade him out. They just have to back up and protect CookieJake, but he's all alone praying for Yomps to come help him. Finally, he comes from IT, but is this winnable right now? He's taking so much damage.
And mostly just a dry fight from Blue. It not going to turn out very well. I think they tried to push off the fact that some red respawners weren't going to be around the second point in time, but it doesn't look like the amount of time that they were going to be able to use to push 2 is great enough, so it leads them all the way to their own 2.
Yeah, they did protect CookieJake, though. The medic scout speed buff still showing its strength now, surfing all that hit scan damage coming in behind him, and they have a chance to repush with 70-60% Uber ad.
But Red is so far back. Look at them, they're already out.
they're giving up all that space completely, backing up through the shutter, and just they give it up. They want to play for the stalemate potentially, but it's not a stalemate. They're already ready to go through the next choke. It's 5v6, but they're invincible. That doesn't matter at that point. They have to kill Yite now, but they're just giving this up also, just backing all the way up to their own last.
Now this is the point where red playing kind of passive ended up being in their favor, because Yite bombed in and there was pretty much no one for him to shoot that was reliable for damage and kills.
Yeah, just having to give it up and back up play off their last with an Uber advantage. They were able to get out last time with that difference. Able to push through the rough push to do, but look at that size, sent flying in by that sticky trap, trying to catch someone else here. Will he be able to get away? It looks like both soldiers do live there. Trading for aim as well, but another backhand Yomps. You can't do it every single time, man. They're going to figure it out. Tries to make it work, but he does pull enough people back for a repush. Potentially soldiers in right now. Onto Bear, looks like, but he misses the rocket. Finally, Zilly cleans up on it, but all the kills are going the way of Dorsia. They can just clean up the soldier sitting on Spire, trying to recap it. Just got supporting him, but just not enough. They have to back up to last, and they're bearing down at a full Uber disadvantage.
That was really good from Blue, recognizing that 3 people went back for the flank of Dorsia trying to go for the backup. And even though the backup wasn't successful, it created just enough chaos for them to have the ad and the players to be able to retain 2 and get ready for a push that's about to happen right now.
Yeah, looks like they want to go in from the far side. Soldier jumps in. They need to kill him. He should not get away with that, but he does. Only the gun going down from the Uber. They got some space for it, but now the refight from my anime list coming in. Everybody jumping into the back, trying to kill somebody. Marmalou's the first to go down. Ash gets a kill there, but again, heavy, good class. Kev walking onto the point, cleans up, and CookieJgg isolated between both soldiers. Yite trying to make something happen, but another full wipe from Dorsia. They have the point advantage, so it's not the worst being in this position. They'll be able to probably hold their second if they can pressure out the Uber on their respawns. They might actually have to go all the way back to their last. They want to make a stand on this mid, though, with both their soldiers.
They got no heals. There's no way they're going to be, and no traps, there's no way they're going to be able to hold this. So now they just got to set up for 2 with disad, but they do have a sniper. The question is does Red know? Do they see the dot? Is he showing it? He's showing it on the crate. The question is, anyone looks?
Gonna see. Looks like it takes 1 shot. They know now for sure, and I saw someone walking into IT. They're gonna try to push through that lane. Right, free cam is not helping me right now as I look around. They came in through Al-Qaeda, actually, forced a little bit early. This could be a refight potential from them. Their health is super good. On the side of Dorsia, aim is still low if he doesn't get a bow soon. Does finally get it, but Uber advantage towards Dorsia on the defense. What's the best way that my enemy list can look to stop this push? Because it seems to work for them when they do it from their last.
So far, my anime list has been playing pretty far back. I feel like if they want to try a change of pace, it's definitely just the flat-out opposite, where they try to do the same thing Dorsia's doing, where some sort of flank play. Trip's going to try to bomb in, but it's not going to lead to a whole lot of success, and now they're just going to have to back up again. They've already used the resources. Aim's trying to go behind, but they kind of saw him, so I don't know. I don't think this is really going to work. He's going to get a little bit of cap time, but still going to get chased down.
Actually, they did make it a 3v3, though. Finally, the trades happen, and Uber just chipped away as CookieJgg has to use it. And honestly, this is a win. This is a win for my anime list backing up to mid. They're not going to get their forwards, but Soldier and Scout, they're going to be back fairly quickly. Uber advantage for them. And the 1 death on Ash is going to mean that they can't really brawl through that choke with the heals that they have. Where are they going to want to take this? IT, it looks like.
It looks like they're probably going to go through IT. Is it upper or lower is a question. Looks like it's probably going to be lower.
They haven't spotted it quite yet. Finally, the Scout runs around the corner to see it. They use a little bit early, but they've isolated some people. Yite, just a little bit too far forward. Wanted to catch them out and choke, but he couldn't. He's down now, and if they move fast enough, they might be able to catch CookieJgg before he gets Uber.
There's no demo. Looks like the drive push is starting as they're moving over to the right side of the point. You get a Scout really low, and everyone's going back towards spawn. That leaves the point open if people are going to be getting on it.
They had to focus it a little bit harder. They knew they were close, but at this point, just run away, preserve your lives, or yeah, nothing else you can do. They're just going to get wiped. Maybe they can save Bear. Looks like going out through lower IT. No one's going to be anywhere near close enough to chase that, but if they're fast enough on Dorsia, they might have to just give up second entirely. Mid entirely, excuse me. They walk through. Respawns did get forced back, it looks like, but they're still going to be coming in from second. 1 jumper in right now, but immediately cleaned up by Trip. If he can get away, that's a huge win for them.
That's not timid gameplay. Dorsia flank going in early on these transitions in the mid is finally being punished as they're able to finally get the pick onto the soldier that's bombing in early. So now not only do they have ad, but now Blue's down resources to be able to force it.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw away the pocket, it looks like, and 1 clean rocket. Bear has to go straight up, uses really early.
That's
they
a
want to
150
this
health
again.
pop.
Yeah, that to me says that they want to walk in with this health and go before they get Uber. But again, CookieJgg 10% away. I don't think they can catch him.
Yeah, he looks pretty safe on last. He doesn't have a whole lot of teammates though, so they really gotta defend this whole last here by themselves. And oh, he dies at 95!
No way! Just play a little bit safer. Build, swing a Boston Basher once and maybe you'll get it, but my enemy list just walk in, they know what they're making work, and they just steal it away from them.
I like the way that Mal's playing now. They were at the very beginning, they were playing really afraid, and now they're actually starting to do plays. Even when they're down resources, they're actually trying to go behind and go for big plays instead of just leaving and playing safe.
Looking at this mid right now, Sai goes in very quick, actually way faster it looks like than Yite. Similar mid rotations, but Sai, excuse me, holding back a little bit to try to fight. He might take a little bit of damage, but they're just not fast enough. Very high bomb from Trip, landing on top of Zilly, and another high bomb. Well, actually, Aim just gets juggled up, lands on the health pack, and lives. And now Trip can go in with that number advantage. He might die for this, but no. The healing, the health, they just have enough, and it's like Dorsia's forced to back up. Both their scouts gonna have to leave, but they're on the wrong side of the map. They're stuck in sewer. They're gonna have to hope for this Uber to make something work.
Yep. They're coming in now, and they get Bear. Bear barely didn't have, he had like 98 or something. Well, not able to escape because his back is against the crate, and that's just going to lead to a red wipe on the mid fight. That should not have happened.
Nobody kill-binded on Dorsia. They knew they were behind. Bear just was too afraid of the respawners, but the double scout Uber just enough, and now Dorsia are going to take that all the way to the bank. They already have their combo on second. Two people capping mid, it looks like. And my enemy was staring at. It's not a huge disadvantage, but it's a decent one.
Yeah, I'm sure Dorsia just thought that they were just gonna have to go for a hero play and do some sort of Uber exchange and see if they can sacrifice their people with guns so Cookie could actually escape the mid somehow. But I mean, if they're just gonna be given a free medic frag that doesn't have Uber yet, I'm sure they're definitely gonna take that.
Bear just thought it was ostriching, head in the ground, hope that no one can see him before he gets Uber.
Probably didn't thought they were gonna have quite yet.
They were doing more damage. It just makes sense. He was putting out just enough, and early Uber. They wanted to make this work. They need to flash right now, but this gun delaying a lot. Again, Uber only to take down the gun. Has Dorsia figured out this push yet? Probably not with another Uber barreling in on the side. Trip craters, but keeps up the pressure, and the scouts, wait, they can't bleed too many people in here. These scouts have to play their life, but a flank right now from Zilly could have been huge, but no one's there to clean up on it.
Does it seem like there's going to be a couple of people that are dying in lobby still, and it's just going to be the medic and demo for blue team leaving. It was almost a saving grace there at the very end, how Red kind of flubbed their Uber, but I feel like definitely the loss of this push was not in the idea, but the execution. That gun definitely took way too long to die, and I think it's mostly because they led on the demo and not a scout. But
did you see what forced them in lobby? I noticed they popped when they came through the upper lobby door. Not sure exactly what forced them. I think maybe they just wanted to pop through a trap or get in with as high health as possible, but I think that was a part of it too. Maybe if they had just gotten able to milk a little bit, that over-aggression at the end would have been into higher health players, right? They wouldn't have been able to make it work quite as much, but either way, Uber's traded.
Maybe they thought they saw a sniper or something? I don't think there was one, though.
I didn't notice it at the last second, but it's entirely possible that there was a missed call or something.
IT play going on right now. It's going to lead to Trip's death. He does get a trade with Yomps, though, so that's going to be a 1-for-1 at the very least.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do too much more out of this, and losing Marmalou means they definitely have to back up. As my cat is meowing very loudly at my legs. Holding back here, it's going to be tough for them to walk through if they have a soldier close, it looks like, but Demo, a lot of damage in the choke. Scout walks through, he dies. If they can get Ash away, looks like he almost takes no damage, actually, just one pipe near the end of that fight. They can bully in, but with that number advantage, they have a spawner coming. He's far away, but Sai's single-deading in choke. Finally, he lays down a carpet to slow them down. As Cookie Jake actually got stuck in the corner, and they don't want to move in off that numbers. They're afraid of the stickies, and we're back to a stalemate.
Yep, a little bit of a late death, but it's okay because all three of your streaming classes are up, so it's just going to lead back to another stalemate. And we actually have Yomps on Sniper. He's going towards sewer right now. Got his medic with him. Seems like Yite's going to be staying at the choke, and he's about to peek one of the shutters as soon as Zilly opens it.
I wish I had caster essentials. I can't see the stickies. There were actually none there. They try to clear it. Does not get the god shot. Now they know for sure Bear's going to be playing very safe behind the point. Not going to let any of those hero peaks happen. But if they get one pick, it still might be enough to work with. The sticky just got rolled into the middle of all of them, and Zilly actually meleeed it to get rid of it. They're going to keep distracting, actually. That was a great play. Yomps going for something heroic here. Maybe a bait. They pull them in a little bit too far, and Marmalou gets the force. Bear had to hide a little bit too far forward. Am gets the air shot to clean up, but that's just a thing for the frag vid and not for the game. They're going to be holding back on mid potentially. Huge Uber advantage. How are they going to take it in?
That was a really nice bait. Show the sniper. If he doesn't get a kill, whatever. You know the medic's going to be holding close, and since Red took a little bit of initiative and not too much, Marbler just knows that Bear's probably a little bit more forward than usual, probably not on the Spire. Easy bomb.
Yeah, it was a great play by them. Use the bait from the sniper to get in, and they're actually walking their sniper Al-Qaeda now too. They're still playing this slow, even with a big Uber advantage, but
Red is going for a flank play right now. They recognize that there's
side, but they lost two.
There's one less player on the flank because the sniper's in the combo, so now Red's trying to do something, and it's just a 1v1 on Bin now, Zillion and Phelps.
I feel like Blue is too deathball though. They had the heals. They're taking a big heal disadvantage. That's kind of an ego play more than anything. But Jake hit by rollers. I get forced here. The very slow didn't spend Uber. Now they're going to be at a stalemate situation. Complete evensies on both
Phelps,
sides. What do they just? I guess you keep Yomps on sniper, right? You just work in lobby, see if you can get a pick on the far right side, or is my anime list going to keep an iron grip on it?
I mean, in a normal situation, you want to sack a soldier anyway. I mean, if they decide that sniper is no longer going to be working because of the way Red's playing, they can just sack Yomps instead, and it's not a big deal. He can go for a hero peek, but when that actually happens, it's probably up to him whenever he feels like that it's no longer going to be working anymore. One is a pretty good place to snipe from, though. He can see a couple things as long as he gets pretty deep.
They have great positioning in Shutter completely. This whole hallway is all on them, but no one's up with Yomps. No one wants to protect him. Aim just juggles him on the ground and get away with a free pick there. Bennybine's in spawn and able to potentially push out here, 5v6, but they're going to have the respawn from Yomps. He'll come in if they take too long to come out. And
their counter is
bullying
dead.
Rollout, yeah. Other than bullying and rollout,
twice.
they can't do much. They're not going to be able to make anything really happen from it. And Yomps still on sniper. How do you feel about that?
I think that's fine, because he only tried one of the doors. He could try sniping in lobby and seeing if that is any more fruitful. So there's definitely some avenue for sniper still.
I want to see more team help, though. I feel like they just, sent Yomps to go play at the dog park, let him off the leash, and he just got juggled as soon as he peeked out. But now, yeah, you can see they're playing a lot more around him, and they even get the gun off of it. That's something they wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah, as long as the gun's dead, they could try to do some sort of two-man deal, but the problem is because they have to use so much spam for the gun, that means they're not spamming the players, and these players are healthy enough to get those 2 kills and not be punished for it.
Yeah, and I guess that might be why they don't have anyone play with them, right? As soon as one goes down, just send him flying in to get the kill. But Aim tries to get a force a little bit early, finally. Trip comes in to get it in the back. Ubers are split both ways, but looks like the one for Dorsia might end a little bit faster, but they're chasing. They might have better health here. Bear is not looking the greatest health-wise, but rotating all the way over to the far lobby exit. Oh, tons of damage, actually, onto Kev. They find Phelps first onto my anime list. They're capping the point. They have 3 times. No one's close enough, and Dorsia steal away another round, finally getting an even last push in the pocket.
Yeah, red team shifted over towards the door 5 to be able to try to stuff them, but that just left all the other doors open. So a lot of the flank players from the blue team were able to get in really early and put a lot of point pressure and shoot it from the side. So
all right, Jarrett,
leads to a successful last push.
Over under, are these teams going to just wrap around each other again? What are the odds? They play exactly the same thing.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like blue is deciding to actually mirror them and meet them at their own sewer, which is good because the other mids definitely weren't working as soldiers are high bombing in and both are landing on the combo of blue right now.
They call Bear immediately. It's still even trades though, but Cookie Jake living up top. No pipes are connecting right now from side. Everything just dodging him like he's the one. Took the red pill, but they're sitting back on. They did win the mid. Cookie Jake lived with Uber. They can bully back in with heals. They just have to be so careful to not let them bully in right now. Demo bomb right now from side, but the pipes were connecting now. They won't connect again.
Oh, that's some
piped immediately by Yite, and they could retake. They're just gonna give it up completely and play with total Uber disad.
The red team was definitely not on the same page there. Sai goes in, but the scouts just wanted to cap. High tense situation where you got to make decisions very quickly, but it doesn't seem like the initial idea of all the players was in sync. So that's just gonna leave no traps coming for the blue team. I'm pretty sure as they move in here, they're not gonna be too afraid of using it. It's just a trip bomb that immediately dies. Sure, Cookie gets weak, but he's just gonna go in for a pack. So as long as the blue players that are chasing don't be too reckless, and they're getting kills themselves, this should be a free too, and honestly, this should be a free last. Red doesn't have the resources to be able to force them, so they're just gonna walk through for it.
100%. They could just walk in. They have the Uber ad. As long as they don't wait for him to get 30%, then it's gonna be easy for them. They flank in. Bear caught on the ground in Dorsia. They clean it up. Another quick one. I thought they were gonna struggle in these even fights, but once they just took that snowball straight in. Moving forward, MP win limit 3. Okay, I was about to say take us to the half, but it never unloaded, and I was trying to buy time until we got there. Dorsia, bring us to halftime off of a strong snowball. Cookie Jake, he's the hero of that last round for me, straight up. He lives through Psy bombing him twice. He lives through a trip bomb that maybe was a little too high to get far enough, but Cookie Jake showing he belongs back in Invite and comes back to the game.
You know, that's really got to hurt for Mal, how
For sure.
the last round that is impact as you go into this halftime is literally off of just one key to the moment decision that you have to make mid. Are you going in for the force, or are you just going to get the cap so that you actually get some sort of forward spawns, and then even though they have Uber, maybe you'll have more players up to be able to go for that force. And the fact that all the players weren't on the same page, as soon as that decision had to be made, it literally snowballed it, like you said, all the way to 2, all the way to last. Not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, I think just the no one being able to follow up on the bomb because they still didn't have Bear back up where they needed him. That I think was the biggest downfall there. Maybe send one more person in. You lost 3 anyway, but you can at least force the Uber. Maybe now just respawn in your defensive classes, get a heavy, get an NG, something that some silly Highlander class that'll buy you time enough to maybe retake and get second. And I saw people in chat talking about the logs, so I pulled them up on my end. Ash 20-7. He was a sleeper to me. He was getting kills, but I didn't realize he was going off at that level.
Let me see if I can pull the logs up. I mean, it's gonna be pretty good for scouts to be able to collect a lot of kills, because especially with trip bombing in to go for these solo forces a lot, it's gonna make his stats play really high. And
true.
So far with all the last pushes they've had, I'm pretty sure most of the Uber ads they've had has been a pretty good proponent in making sure that he's able to have a successful game here.
Yeah, and he's definitely been bringing them to success once they finally figured out how they want to take those last pushes. It was really not something they were comfortable with at the start, and even towards the end, they only really got that final one from a snowball and a massive Uber ad. What do you think was missing from Dorsia at the start that maybe they need to find moving in? I know last pushes are notoriously difficult, but is there anything that you saw specifically that was missing out from what they were trying to do?
I think it was just straight up practice of the execution of them. It seemed like the ideas of what they wanted to do were fine. A lot of their dry pushes were through 5. A lot of their Ubers where the gun was on. But there were really small things, like maybe the Ubers popped slightly too early. Maybe you led a class that probably shouldn't have been led. Maybe the point was focused more than kills were when it should have been the other way around. I think the way they're approaching the last is fine. They just need to keep doing them over and over and over again, and eventually, they're gonna have it down.
Hey, if my enemy list holds them well enough, then they might be able to get practice over and over and over again for them to make it work. My enemy list, I think they were expecting, almost similar to me, how long they were going to have to play on that final mid, how they were playing these rotation styles mids every single time. But Dorsia finally waking up and playing this aggressive style at the very end, the super high bombs. Do you think they reacted almost incorrectly to the really, really high bomb? I know you have to shoot him, but I feel like maybe just too much attention was being pulled away by the people in the sky on the side of Dorsia, and they need to be paying more attention to the people forward, bully them out, and then deal with the bomber as he lands.
I think Dorsia did a good job of adjusting. Instead of doing the whole trading sides thing, they finally said, all right, screw it. Even though we won the first mid, that was kind of a fluke because everyone was standing on top of each other. The execution of the idea of our mids has kind of not been great 3 times in a row. So they switch it up. They go sewer instead. They meet across my enemy list health pack area over by IT, and it goes a little bit better. So I would say that in terms of how they want to progress their mids, it's kind of up to them if they want to keep that or if they want to try something else as well to have more than just that plan B, maybe have a plan C as well to have ready in their pocket. I think the ball is mostly in my enemy list court, because now new mid where you're actually meeting and not trading sides. If Dorsia plays in a way where they're kind of passive at the beginning, just be like, hey, whatever side you guys show, we're just going to meet you there. We're not trading sides anymore. They need to figure out now how they're going to adjust, because if they keep meeting sides like this, it's not going to be a guarantee that they necessarily win, especially when they are currently down 2 rounds.
Yeah, I kind of want my enemy list to just slam into them. I want them to bully straight on each side, but now's the time we're going to find out as we are done with the halftime and moving into the second half of my enemy list versus Dorsia. Dorsia leading 3-1. Sai making its mid a little bit faster than Yite. Hasn't really made a difference as both teams have been a little bit slow on the initial engage most rounds. Right now it looks like they're still playing this rotation style. They want it to go, but Good enough disengage from Dorsia, actually. Yike caught out, so is Zilly. Now, if they want to make something, they have to either protect CookieJake or go in right now. You're not going to have a hero play like that again as Bear, untouched by the bomb coming in at the end. Ash and CookieJake, mission impossible right now, but aim flies in, and my enemy list clean them up immediately.
I'm very surprised to see Dorsia go back to the mids that were literally the ones they lost, and they did not do the mid that they won. And the thing that this is just a personal thing, what I won't go too deep into. But one thing you have to recognize about that type of mid where you trade sides is, if you start to lose, you've fully lost, you've wiped, you're on the other side of the map. So
yeah,
it's especially not great if, you're playing a team that's going to do pretty decent. But it looks like Red's going to pop in here, actually.
Yeah, quick Uber from the closest door, but haven't found any kills. Finally, Yike keeps getting caught out in some of these exchanges as a fight happens in Panic Room. But no cap time, just a little bit so far. They can't really into this heavy, but they jumped off at the point. No one was close enough. Zilly wanted to back up into the nest, and they just surrender it and get my enemy list ever closer to making up that gap.
Didn't seem like they were on the same page on who was going to be the one to sacrifice their life to be able to jump the point, and especially because they had a heavy, that even limits who is going to be able to do it even further. It's going to be another round.
I need to watch Sai's rollouts, because he really is getting here so much faster than Yike. Finally, they send Marmalou really quick to try to make up for it a little bit, but another rotation heavy mid potentially. Actually, they catch someone in, jumping right in aim, catches out Yumps. Really pick for them, and now it looks like Dorsia kind of forced to engage a huge rocket, but no one's there to clean it up. Finally, the follow-up comes in, but they had a chance to re-heal. Bear couldn't heal himself up, though. He goes down. They need to protect CookieJake. They'll come flooding in every different door to make the demo ineffective. Trades here, but they're back on Red second. Again, you're not going to make it work. 93%. He has to get a saw, but Phelps cleans him up. Just picking off the individual players now in my enemy list. Again, a strong mid from them. Kill everybody, and not going to have as big an advantage, but still an advantage going into second.
Yeah, Mal, there's going to be a small 1v1 on mid, but it doesn't look like Mal's going to make the same mistake they did last time, where they have their medic die and they're indecisive on whether or not they commit or go for the cap. Meanwhile, Dorsia is still doing that same mid, where they just trade sides that hasn't been working a whole lot for them, except spare the first mid. And it was even worse because Yomps didn't even go that same side. He was actually very much caught out and immediately killed near his own choke, so... Not really sure what Dorsia is doing right now in terms of their mid plans, but they definitely need to clear it up if they want to actually start these rounds with the ball in their court and not on their own 2 or their own last.
I like how my enemy list are kind of abusing what's going wrong. For Dorsia, they're spotting it, and Dorsia have to adapt. Good rocket, actually. Great spam onto Bear. 100% final. It's actually still 99. If they go right now, they could make something happen, but he does finally get it. Forced in at 90 health. If a bomb came in right now, it could be great. So they were potentially waiting for it by rollout, but don't have the space to go in. They just get chunked a little bit too hard and back off to protect their number and Uber evenness, more or less. Gonna be a stalemate here. It's Yomps in the spawn. Swaps over to Sniper, so he'll be able to watch rollout in probably 3. So he's staring at 3 right now if they think they're gonna do a fast Uber, but they have to know that Ubers are even. If they're gonna slow push, it's gonna be from the side. I think they might just have to get a force or something, or bully out the defensive classes, because I don't think they win this in even Ubers.
Yeah, they're definitely expecting a sack here, and the idea of going through 5 right now is the red team is pretty good, because they see the center gun on the far right side of the point, so and the sniper on the other side as well. That kind of means that the near 5 is kind of less defense, but it doesn't really work out. Yomps tries to go for a hero peek, is also immediately shot down, so both sack and counter sack attempts are, the idea is fine, just the execution wasn't quite there for the team in regards to finding success.
It could have been a better repush. I mean, Trip missed the air shot onto the demo. You can't just fault that specifically, right? But they had a chance to make it work, and either way, they're going to be stalemating. Gun literally directly on the point is Ashes. That's going to deny any stacks, potentially, is silly kind of aggressive in rollout. That position, I'm not wrong, right? It's specific to stop anybody bombing in and trying to go for a force.
Yeah, this way, if anyone actually decides to go through 5, like previously, the gun will be able to shoot at them. When he had the gun over by his right spawn, anyone going out of 5 was out of range. The only thing that sucks now is this is a much easier spam angle. So someone definitely has to non-stop counter spam 5 if they want this gun to stay up. That a person also has to make sure they're living and they're not accidentally, dropping too much health. So I really like the stickies here that are above the 5 door by Yite. So, as Marmalou is trying to counter spam aim, so aim doesn't spam the gun, if someone tries to commit on Marmalou being weak right now like he is, 64 health, he'll be able to get the kill, but it's just a splash rocket. His aim is able to just shoot around the side of the barrel, and with Marmalou dead, it looks like this gun's gonna start to get pushed a little bit. Scout goes through. is able to get hurt, and that is why that trap is really important.
Yeah, the control that it gave them over there was super helpful, but they actually bled someone else out. It looks like Yomps maybe going for something off of those 2 picks. They're going to have decent spawn, so it's not the end of the world right now, but still stuck here in this little back and forth game. Do you think they actually swapped Phelps to Sniper, it looks like, and that's should be the only off class. We've seen Sniper. Oh, wow. Okay, hold the shutter. He thought he was safe, and immediately Zilly goes down. I'd say they could take the 6v5, but one's a Sniper. 5.5 versus 5. Is that enough for my analyst to take this?
You definitely just want to use the fact that there's one less person holding a door, but Blue's going to take the initiative here and try to go for exchange, but little do they know that the Red Medic Bear was not even in, so Yomps is going to have to go in deep for a force, and Bear gives him the no respect and holds it. So this is actually going to be full ad. The idea there by Blue Ubering in is fine, but I don't think they had enough information. They didn't know that Bear wasn't quite in with his teammates, and it was just a Sniper kind of alone, which you would think that the Sniper wouldn't be playing alone. So,
yeah. I mean, they did. They made their Sniper play alone last round. I'd be surprised they would think that way, but now they're going in with the only advantage they have. The gun actually catches Sai a little bit off guard, but they're not getting any frags. Everyone's just waiting back by their ramp. A bomb into the heavy. That's not going to work, and they trade out Trip for that immediately. They're taking that area above. They kill the heavy as well, so they're going to stack the point. Only a scout on it now, but they're just not connecting on him. Finally, the rocket from the back by aim does kill him. They don't have the numbers for it in my anime list. What a power-up between rounds. They take it to a 3-3 evensies.
Blue's lack of control of their own nest above their spawn was their own downfall there, as both AIM and Sai were able to just walk across and rain down on the people that were right below them, and that's going to lead to another round for my Amulet. They're really picking it up, but I really want to see if Dorsia is going to be able to finally fix their mids. It does look like that Yite's going sewer, though, so that's good for them.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, way too forward by Sai. He goes on the low ground when the soldiers are high bombing in. They have to back up is my anime list. Bear's actually in front. Doesn't surf the rocket, but because it doesn't connect, they still bleed Trip for it. And Dorsia actually continuing to get aggressive onto Bear. Misses the direct follow-up, but look at them flooding in. No one's capping the point. They just want this kill, and they just can't get it. They're trying to go in through all the doors, and they're already all the way out into their own spawn. Is my anime list. They're going to be able to hold on to second because of that. No cap for them either, so their respawners are going to have to come all the way back from their last.
This is another great example of a great idea to be able to clear up people, but just poor execution. People weren't in sync, and the soldiers went a little bit too deep and died, and now they don't have those soldiers up to be able to get a really force, so now Red's going to go super deep for this exchange. They're
trying to trade out just damage on the side. It's still even. Uber gets popped first, it looks like, by Dorsia. They're going to have to flash. It's a solo on a scout, and they're flashing on the side of my anime list to save their demo. Ends up making the Ubers dead even, but positioning all in favor of my anime list. Look at this. Every high ground is in their favor, coming out of IT as well. They should catch out the scouts, potentially. They do catch Ash. One does manage to make it away is Yomps on 66 HP. They're going to have to back up to their second. Ubers in favor of my enemy list as well. The timing of the pop just better for them. 50%, only a 10% advantage, but they're going to walk in off of the numbers. Off from Al-Qaeda, looks like Marmalou actually gets shot in the air, but lose their scout forward. Dorsia's just falling apart on their own spire.
It almost looked like Mal was a little bit indecisive there, but they finally figured out what they wanted to do and actually able to commit and Trip leading the charge. And even though he dies for it, leaves his team successfully taking 2, and Red's going to actually just get on the point really early right now.
Why not? I mean, you have the time. They're going to be respawning still. They don't have the heals. My anime list. Quick again, another round for them. Only 7 points on top, and that's how you know it was a quick one. 1 point away from sealing this effectively after being in an awful position at the beginning. They just figured out Dorsia, they don't handle the pressure very well, and they're going to have to figure something else out with their team to slow down what my anime list have been trying to do.
Yep. We have a blue team going towards their own sewer again, so this is another good idea probably from Dorsia in terms of their gameplays. They do go for a double bomb right now. Red's retaliating, but Bear dies.
Huge from Zilly actually finding his way in, and all the kills going in favor of Dorsia right now, who's still alive. Just actually both scouts there. Just Sai up for them, and he's smartly going to leave. Maybe put up a hero trap if anything, but actually, wait, where is Sai? Oh, he's hiding. I think I had to click to him. I don't have the wall hack plugin, unfortunately, but
he's in IT.
He's in his own IT. Okay. I was scared for him right now. He should be able to get away and spam this spire, but even Ubers, they might be able to make this work. They will. They're going to come right back in. That soldier smartly gives up that space and more or less back to a stalemate. Do you see any merit in Dorsia trying to bully in before Ubers are a factor?
I don't think they really have an incentive right now. There doesn't seem like there's necessarily anything that they want to push off of. Everyone on Red is placed around where you'd want to be. besides some small adjustments. So it's probably just up for them to get Uber, take a look at exactly where they are, and decide what kind of play they want to do. Do they want to go through IT again? Do they want to try to bait someone Al-Qaeda? Do they want to try to go for another off class? Ball's kind of in their court, and they can really do whatever they want. It looks like it's going to be IT, though. They're sending 3 people into IT.
Maybe just to catch out to someone a little bit too forward, but no one overextended. Actually, the only one overextended is Yomps, trying to go in and make something happen, and now ball's in my enemy list's court if they want to have a follow-up, but might just even out the stalemate. They have the numbers. I'm not going to say the word park the bus, but it's smart to not go in, I think. That might have been a little hasty. They have time. They can wait for Dorsia to do a more aggressive play, or you kind of give them the chance to come in with that off class, though, with that free sack. If they had walked into choke, though, I mean, if they had walked into a sniper coming back from respawn, I don't think that would have ended very well.
Yeah, Trip wasn't buffed and not really that far forward, so I guess he didn't really want to waste time going all the way to choke. Trip is a very adamant about making sure he's in position for a counter sack, but Phelps just travels a little bit too deep into IT and just dies really late. I'm not really sure what that was. Maybe he thought that the rockets weren't going to do that much damage, but now Blue has a free pick with the sniper.
Yeah, throwing your scout inside is always going to be tough. Holding the shutter open, actually. They get the Uber forced. They want to get a good exchange in sewer, and it could be huge, but both teams are flashing quite a bit. Having to save Yite very, very low. The health is actually terrible right now in Dorsia, but Kev gets away with 1 HP. They just can't get the follow-up. Hero shot potentially from Yomps, and he goes down. The health, they gave them a chance to re-heal, but they could still take a 5v6 push right now, but the demo spam just too much. Both scouts clearing it, still can't make it work. And Marmalou coming in to get more pressure, but getting chipped away. Finally, they actually sent someone in through IT. He's behind the entire team, but no one is turning to deal the damage, and Dorsia just bleeding out. Send in a sack. They catch Bear. They need to kill out Cookie Jake, or they're going to hold this mid for just a little while, but not long enough. Staying in the choke, re-healing. If they just chip away, all their damage is going to stick unless they can stay on a health pack. So potentially backing out into IT. Dorsia, with Cookie Jake living and Bear going down, they hold strong. They're going to have an Uber advantage, and right now, number advantage to go into second.
And that's the risk you run when you try to push a point dry off of just a scout pick. It's totally possible, but with all spamming classes up, it's very easy for it to end in disaster. And Red was just too hurt, and especially Bear. And Bear's the one that dies, and now you have Disad, lost your 2. Got to build up a gun and maybe have a sniper on last.
Am I wrong to think that when a scout's the one who's dead, right? You do high bombs, right? You just fly yourselves in. If they hit the air shot, then oh well, they were gonna outskill us anyway, right? But I think you play into the scout being down. Send both soldiers in, make something happen, but right now an Uber coming in, takes down the gun immediately. Everybody hiding on the right side, no cap time just yet. Both scouts get it very close in my enemy list. Pounce to keep that contest up, but they give up their nest. They finally kill Zilly up top, who rushed in from the side, but the cap time's going in Dorsia. We're at 4-4 right now. This is it. This is the closest to a golden cap without it being overtime that we're gonna get, Jarrett.
Yep, that's another round for Dorsia. 4-4. All it's gonna come down to is this mid. We'll see if Mal can finally adjust back to winning these mids after Dorsia has made the adjustments of going sewer nonstop.
See what they do change up. It looks like neither team wants to strike. No one's bold enough to go on that super aggressive play when they're down. And another rotation style. Both teams want to give up that mid, but a double soldier bomb right now flying in onto Bear. Perfect sync takes him down. They trade both soldiers for it, and if they can just protect Cookie Jake, this could happen. Bear drops the bro in chat. They're still getting bullied out. They can do some damage onto these players, make it stick, but Yite gets separated. Misses his pipe. Only chance to get a pick that they had. Rotating back all the way around. 84% is Cookie Jake, but he goes down in my anime list. Managed to flip that even after losing Bear. The crazy aggression to chase him down makes it work. Still no cap for them, but advantage towards Bear. Going to be about 20-30%, I think, once they finally get up. They can take this into Spire.
They're able to sell out for the medic kill, but the only issue is because the mid style they're doing is where they trade sides. Normally when you just sell out your soldiers for medic kills, you want to just, all right, 4v5, let's just take our heals away and we'll play this really slow. But you can't. You can't escape. You've taken their half of the map. So I kind of feel like the target selection on that soldier bomb was definitely the downfall of the blue team, because even though they're able to kill Bear, now they have Disad, and they only have a sniper to save them.
And we're going to see if that's going to be enough. I mean, Sniper isn't the most powerful on this point. It can be solid, but there's ways to avoid him, and you can get in close pretty quickly. He's in lower lobby. Immediately, 3 players die right on top of him. More or less a free pick. And actually, wait, the soldier juggled up. Perfect rocket. Zilly goes down, but he gets a follow-up air shot onto Kev, it looks like, to make that even. Well, walking in here. Still number advantage in the favor of MyAnimeList, but Uber is in Dorsia's hands. Maybe they walk into lobby and catch some players out, but neither team wants to make it work. Holding here on last will be Dorsia with Uber advantage. No defensive classes unless Zilly swaps to it, because I think they want to make something happen if they go quickly. Last spawn is up, and potential push out of last coming soon.
It's one of the better chances you're going to get. You just got to get situated, and it looks like they're going to go through lower IT, or lower lobby.
They walk in, actually, oh, yikes, we hit the walkway, he couldn't go all the way in. They lose Yums, and MyAnimeList are just sitting on mid, licking their lips, waiting to come back in. They do lose Phelps for it. They won't be able to find anything else. Team's health pretty solid, but they lose aim again. Was it to a trap? Was it to a duel inside IT? I couldn't see, but a fast bomb from Marmaloo right now forces the rest of MyAnimeList back out. Holding mid they are right now, but Uber advantage on their side. They could go back in pretty quickly if they have the numbers.
Round 2 here. They're all bunched up at choke. Looks like Sly's gonna bomb in. He's not even Ubered, he's just going straight in. The question is he gonna die? He's popped up in the air and he gets air shot!
Zilly! Huge from Zilly, catching him out on that. That could slow down this push into last if they lose enough players, but Dorsia backs up. They preserve their numbers, they preserve their health, and their Uber advantage. Might be able to make something work, but they want to go before Uber. Is this a misstep? They're getting bled out here. Yams goes down, super aggressive. His trip right now, gonna melee. Yike gets dangerously low, so is the medic. They want to keep walking in. They're capping the point. They send a soldier on, but I don't know if they can stop it. MyAnimeList. All Dorsia had to do was wait, and they just let it slip away. MyAnimeList take it 5-4 at the last possible second.
Wow. Honestly, watching this match, watching MyAnimeList in particular take away with this win, it really felt like I was watching a whole different team in the very beginning, and then we went to the half, and then they just turned it up to 11. I mean, obviously, you look at this half, it was 4-1, but you could really see in the gameplay, they stopped playing really timid, they started going for more plays, trying to go behind, and even if those plays didn't necessarily work, the fact that so many people had to go back for those plays created space for the people that weren't going for the plays, and it just ended up leading to a whole lot of success for them. Now, there were some things that were just, Dorsia had a good idea and they weren't able to execute it, but that's TF2 for you. So I would say that they definitely just completely flipped the game around as the whole game went on.
So, Jarrett, what roster does Dorsia play with next game? Who's on what class next game? Predictions now. Who's playing what?
I feel like they should probably just keep this the same and just keep practicing with it, so when it comes down to, having a plan, they can actually execute it, well. Because there were a lot of things that they were doing is like, oh, this is pretty good. This is a good idea. Like, okay, I like this. And then, it's just dumb stuff. Like, literally, in the last 5 minutes of the game, you see, for example, the Yite Uber bombing in, and he hits his head on the ramp on Spire on 2. Like, that's just, silly stuff that, as long as you're playing with the same people on the same classes and they get used to everything, used to the class, used to playing with the same players and the same roles, same flank, same combo, all that kind of stuff just eventually disappears. So as long as they keep things the same, they should start doing a better job, but things just aren't going to work out in their favor this time.
Yeah, and I have the logs up. I noticed people were talking about it, and I'll say it just because everyone is at aim1 invite win. Marmaloo 0 is the current spam of choice in chat right now, but logs were up before us. A lot of people talking about that, and aim impounded that last game straight up. I mean, he went 18-5, almost 300 DPM in a game that I think was it had a lot of slow moments, and being able to maintain that DPM across, I think, what was there wasn't any of those really long drawn out fights, right? It was 100 or 0. And he was still connecting everything he needed to, cleaning up on all the kills, and it's not normally supposed to be his job.
Honestly, I think the damage mostly comes in from, the whole spam thing when he was getting tanked and, trying to spam the sentry gun at last. Because you have to kill that sentry before you do anything, right? So they're just, everyone's sitting around, literally just waiting for aim, and sometimes trip to try to kill it. But I think the KD is especially really good, because that probably means that he did a really good job in moments where he needed to try to counter jump and clean up kills. And it also meant that a lot of the Ubers were successful, and he was able to get the target he needed to, and they were popped at the right time. So, good job from him.
One of the biggest changes I noticed in the last push is I feel like no one was really doing anything with Nest in the first half, and then everybody just said, "Why are we not taking this great positioning with our Uber?" And then they did, and then suddenly every single push I felt like was working. after that, as soon as they were willing to take that space and kind of clump the enemy team in the corner, that's when they made it so much harder for them to actually flood back out and retake the point. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I kind of feel that. From both teams, there were definitely moments where, as soon as the team lost nest and they were just put below their, like, by their own spawn door, and they weren't able to get to point, they weren't able to deal with the people that were shooting above them, it was just a mess, and that led to a lot of round conversions for both the teams.
Yeah, and we actually have the combined logs now, Jarrett, if you want to take a look at those. Not posted here, but I think they're up on the stream. Yeah, Psy went 22-8 collectively over it, and actually had 300 DPM more or less, 298 there. And Cookie Jake, I do want to call him out again. I think he performed pretty well. He under-deathed Bear, but I think that just shows Mal's willingness to make some of those plays, even if it led to him going down for some of these pushes. Cookie Jake lived through some crazy stuff, but maybe Dorsia playing a little too tentative on some of those mids really hurt them in the end.
Looks like we have AIM for an interview actually coming in here. Hello, AIM.
Hi.
How's Am I do have a question now that you are here after that win. A, were you expecting it to be so close, and B, yeah, like basically what were you expecting from Dorsia coming in after them being kind of brand new? Were you expecting it to be this close?
I was expecting them to play with their original roster, but I guess kind of got like side blinded. Someone said that Yomps was gonna play demo, but that didn't happen either.
He almost did.
Yeah.
He was playing it right before.
I don't know. I guess in the first half I was just kind of off guard. I don't know.
And what about the halftime kind of made you guys wake up? I mean, you got around in the first half, but half two your team, half one your team, completely different.
I think I yelled at my team enough, and they just finally they just whipped into shape, and it just worked out.
The pregame caffeine finally hit in.
Yeah. I kind of woke up before we scrummed, so I don't know if that played into the factor.
Just gotta get into it.
Probably did. Eventually getting into the flow helps out, but you guys, your last pushes I think were phenomenal as it went on. It was tough at first because I feel like you didn't really get that chance to go in, but did you guys specifically make a point? I don't know if you want to mention this in an interview, but did you make a point to take that ground above because you felt like they were kind of ignoring it? Because that's what it looked like to us on the outside looking in.
Usually when we pushed in the last, it just looked like they just ran into spawn, so it was just free usually most of the time. So yeah, I just took the free ground, I guess.
And for your team moving forward after this, I know you guys, this puts you what, 4-2?
I legitimately don't know what our win-loss record is, to be honest.
Pretty sure it's 4-2, but how moving forward in the season, do you guys see yourself kind of maintaining that position as a group, or taking ahead? Do you think those two losses were things you guys could have cleaned up?
So far we're taking baby steps. Right now we just want to make it to playoffs, and then everything else will just fall into place.
It's respectable.
Yeah. Jarrett, if you have any questions, or
no, I think most of the questions I had, you took them right out of my mouth, so I think we're all set here.
Sure. Yeah, Am, if you have anybody you want to shout out before you slide out and celebrate the win.
Shout out to the Malcord. You guys know who you are. And I think that's it. Thanks for the interview.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping in, and congrats on the win.
Thanks.
Yeah. What a game, though. Man, I knew it was going to be a good one. I guess it was kind of hard to say, right, Jarrett? Because, we had this kind of unknown commodity heading in, but what a way to start casting for RGL, huh?
Yeah, I figured the game was going to be pretty decent, and especially because, both teams are trying to, make the best out of a situation that isn't S tier for them. Mal hadn't really scrimmed too much, and Dorsia was still trying to figure out the roster, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. It's a very close scoreline, the closest you can get, 5-4.
Mm-hmm. And I think I think it bodes well for both teams. I guess it's kind of hard to tell from Dorsia, but my Animalist, they are net positive, 66% win rate so far this season. Clearly they can move it forward. AIM said they're aiming for playoffs, and if they're looking that way, I think if they have the drive, they can keep pushing and make some teams scared. But if that's how that team's looking and how Dorsia just performed against them, once they get things kind of ironed out, I expect them to give some high tier teams a run for their money.
Yep. I think the next stop is Ascent, so that's what they're going to be looking towards. But like Aim said, baby steps, so I'm sure that's weeks and weeks in the future.
Yeah, of course. When you don't want to kind of keep yourself too laser focused on the one team, when you want to keep yourself going forward there. But thank you everybody who tuned in to this broadcast. It was a hell of a game, and I'm glad I was able to bring it to you. Jarrett, any shout outs you want to say before we close out for the day?
Let's see. I'm not playing for any team right now, but shout out to the Highlander team I ranked for last weekend. That was kind of fun. Other than that, shout out to Dolphin on production, as always, doing an amazing job. But that's been it for me.
Dolphin always brings it down, and thank you everybody for tuning in, supporting RGL, supporting the stream. Shout outs again to Dolphin for closing it. Thank you, Jarrett, for joining me. Thank you, community, for welcoming me into your casts. That was it for the day. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Me and Jarrett are going to be back for Ascent versus Dorsia on Clear Cut. God help me, I haven't played that map in an eternity, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.